Chardon. Hey, True Crime fans. Welcome back to another episode of Chardon. Hey, True Crime. I'm your host, Dakota. With me, as always, is the lovely Kate.
That's me.
That is her. And tonight we are bringing you part 4 of Heaven's Gate.
Woohoo. And my notes are having a very hard time.
Okie dokie. Well,
yeah, nothing is happening. There it goes. Okay. Wow, she was struggling.
Apparently. You're having a little bit of a lag issue right now.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is being kind of funky at the moment. So,
do you want to try leaving the room real quick and then popping back in?
Yeah, give me just a second. Let me try this one more time here.
Yeah, let's just give this another shot. While Kate is doing that, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk to you about Patreon. Our Patreon is still going strong. We've got a lot of fun stuff happening in there. Cooking with Dorothea Puente is coming up. I know I've been talking about that for a while, but I still really do want to do this cooking show. I also have a couple of other things that we are doing. Write a Serial Killer, the history. We finished History of Execution. We want to move on to History of Medieval Torture Devices. That's going to be a really interesting one. I think that it'll go well with like our history sort of standpoint, which is, I personally think that the history of true crime stuff is really interesting. So, doing a whole series about the history of medieval torture devices is one of my babies, aside from the show. And looks like Kate is back in here. So let's give this another try, shall we? Hello, Kate.
Hello, take 2.
Okay. Still kind of laggy, but you know what? Let's just push on forward.
Yeah, sometimes it figures itself out after a minute or two. So
yeah, exactly. So, anyways, Kate, where did we leave off on part 3?
Okay, with part 3, so Bonnie Nettles had died of liver cancer, and the group kind of dropped the ball on telling her daughter Terry. Things kind of went off the rails with, oh my God, I always forget his name.
Marshall Herf-Applewhite.
Yeah, he kind of went a little wild with scrambling to figure out how to run a group.
This guy right here did not know how to run a group. Yeah.
Not even at all. Nope.
Not even a little bit. Not even at all. Yeah, no. And shout out to the Museum of Death in Hollywood for this awesome postcard. I have a couple of them from this group and this artist, Brendan Donnelly. This is also the picture that's on my Heaven's Gate t-shirt. So, which I'm not wearing today because it is in the wash. I did not do laundry, so that's on me. But anyways, so yeah, they kind of had dropped the ball on number 1, telling Terry that her mother was dead, and number 2, running a group at all, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, suddenly everyone's trying to cut off their balls.
Oh, God, right? I mean, they're like, Bonnie's gone. What are we going to do? I have an idea. Let's cut off our balls.
And everyone was just like...
Kate, we should cut off our balls.
We should cut off our balls!
That's basically how it went.
Pretty much. And then they named them puzzles.
And why they named them puzzles is the true puzzle.
Oh, excuse me.
You good?
Yeah. Having a giant iced coffee at 11 o'clock at night was not among my better choices.
It really wasn't.
I done did that.
Yep.
And I was up until 8:30 this morning.
You didn't even go to sleep after we hung up. Kate, I was up till 6. Why didn't you just call me again?
Because I kept feeling like I was going to fall asleep. Like I was still exhausted, but it just wasn't happening. I was just like, I'm so tired, but fast.
Her sleepiness was speedy.
Mm-hmm.
Speedy sleepiness.
Yep. It was the fastest sleepy I had ever felt.
God, you're a fucking dork.
Yeah. And apparently a dumbass, but I think
I mean that too, but we been new.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways.
Yes, anyway. So apologies. I will be yawning a lot because I did that and then I got my second vaccine today, so I'm just
She a disaster, y'all.
Yeah. Today is a mess, TM.
Yep. Anyways, so yeah, they dropped the ball on telling Terry about her mom. They cut off their own balls. Things were getting weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting. And so wait, I think that's where we left off. So what happened next?
Yeah, so we actually don't really know. So Bonnie died in 1985, and then the next that we hear from the group is in 1992.
What happened in 1992?
So what happened in 1992 was they put out a video called Beyond Human, which they also called The Last Call, and streamed it on satellite TV because, you know, streaming online wasn't exactly a thing back then. Side note, I found out that one of the former members of Heaven's Gate, Sawyer, has a YouTube channel, and I kind of fell down that rabbit hole for a while today. Yeah, he does a lot of streaming too. Also, I subscribe to it, so at some point he may see these, to which I have to say, I respect you for what you're doing, sir.
There you go.
Yeah, that's all I can really say. Respect is given where it's earned, and honestly, I think he has more than earned our respect. But anyways, unfortunately, Beyond Human didn't get any new students, but it did bring back some old students.
I mean, at this point, their theology is pretty strong and they're pretty practiced. So I feel like it makes that they wouldn't really get new students. But yeah, people who were already like familiar with it would be kind of like, oh yeah, these guys.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh yeah, remember that time I like ran away in the 70s and joined that group that said that we were gonna go to space? Yeah, I miss them. I should go see them again. Oh my god.
Oh, that was a fun time.
You know, no sex, no drugs, no alcohol, no smoking. That was, you know, I really cleaned out my system during that time. They just joined them for a dry weekend, you know. Can't relate. But anyway. So yeah, basically they hadn't really they didn't really pick up any new students. They picked up some old ones though. And then in 1993, Herf Applewhite placed a 1/3 page ad in USA Today titled UFO Cult Resurfaces with Final Offer.
That sounds vaguely threatening.
I know.
What's the final offer?
You know, the usual, join us and we go space.
Oh, okay. Same shit, different day.
Yeah, pretty much. But at this point, they start using the internet to spread their message.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
This is the early 90s.
Uh-huh.
Oh god, that webpage probably looks like the carpet of an old arcade. How's that look?
So that webpage is still live. Here you go. You can see exactly what it looks like. It hurts to look at.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yup. Yeah, this hurts to look at. I love that red alert is in like Comic Sans. Like
Who's still
seriously.
paying for that website to be running?
Couldn't tell you. It's the same people that I've been emailing.
Oh, okay.
And they have refused to give me their names. So I have my thoughts on who it could be. It could be Sawyer. It could be Rio. It could be any of these people that are on all of the documentaries and podcasts and everything. No idea. So, yeah. But it's still there. They call themselves the Thea Foundation these days. And for $45, let me see, what is it? For, hard copy editions of the book written by Herf and Bonnie Lou Nettles can be ordered through the Tela services. It's TELAH. It is $45, and that includes shipping, handling, and priority mail. And they actually have an address on here, and it is in Phoenix, Arizona. And I was on Google Maps for quite a while today trying to figure out where this address is. And it's basically in a shopping center with like a Safeway and like a Western Union and some other places. So my guess is it's like a P.O. box, but I'm not really sure.
It's a mystery. Only they know.
Exactly. And I'm not willing to get too far into that group to find out because we all know that I am slightly susceptible to cults.
A little, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I understand my own character flaws, and being slightly susceptible to cults has been a character flaw since I was very young. But I mean, I think that goes hand in hand with like autism, honestly. And we will talk about that a little bit more later because one of the members who died, and we'll talk about him in the next episode, was actually autistic, and he didn't die with the group. He died days later.
Oh.
Yeah. But like I said, we'll talk about that later. Anyways, so what did you think of that website there, Kate?
That aged me. I wasn't even alive in 1992, but I remember when websites looked like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just...
I was very freshly alive in 1992.
You were quite literally still wet from the womb.
Quite literally, yes. But anyways, yeah. So they started using the internet. Now, like I have said in the past, not everything was off limits to Heaven's Gate. They enjoyed watching Star Trek. They had talent shows with themselves. They were a family, a chosen family. And they celebrated holidays together. But most importantly, they were allowed to listen to the radio. And I say most importantly because that is a very important thing in the Heaven's Gate history. Now, one of the most important radio shows that they listened to, or that at least a few members listened to, was, of course, Coast to Coast. Now, Coast to Coast...
Don't you listen to that?
I used to. I even called into it a couple of times. But it's been a while, mostly because... the guy that runs it now, George Norrie, is pretty conservative, and I'm not down with that.
Is that the one that Dan Aykroyd was on a couple times?
Yeah.
Okay.
but like uncredited. He would just call in and talk to the old host, Art Bell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he would just like call in and talk because they always start talking about like the paranormal and aliens and stuff like that. You know, who I would love to do a radio show with fucking Dan Aykroyd. How fucking fascinating would that be?
You just want to do anything with Dan Aykroyd, though.
I want to do everything with Dan Aykroyd. I'm sorry, but if given the opportunity, I will replace you as my best friend with Dan Aykroyd. I hope you understand.
I do understand. That is entirely fair.
Thank you. But anyways, I haven't listened to Coast in a while is the long and the short of it. And it is a great show, though, for conspiracy theorists, the paranormal, all that kind of stuff. You know, the stuff that basically is my bread and butter. Like,
yeah,
if we're honest.
That is just a party for you.
Mm-hmm. Don't lie, you love that shit too.
I mostly love the paranormal. I love ghosts and monsters.
Yeah. Anyways, so one of the guys in the group listens to a show one night, and there was an interesting topic. The appearance of the Hale Bopp Comet was taking over the world.
Real quick. So for people who aren't familiar, the Hale Bopp Comet was discovered separately by two different amateur astronomers, Alan Hale and Thomas Bopp, hence the name Hale Bopp.
Yeah, and since Kate is our resident space nerd, I will let her talk a little bit more about the discovery of the Hale Bopp Comet.
I don't know why, but part of my monkey brain wants to call it the Boppet Comet.
That's not your monkey brain. That's because we were talking about the 90s.
That's what it is.
It's your nostalgia brain.
Okay. Yeah, that adds up.
Mm-hmm.
The Hale Boppet Twist It Comet.
Yeah, exactly. Bop it, twist it.
Okay.
Pull it?
Yeah, bop it, twist it, pull it.
Yeah.
Pass it.
But anyways, a Hale Bopp Comet.
Okay, so Hale had spent many hundreds of hours searching for comets without success and was tracking known comets from his driveway in New Mexico when he happened upon Hale Bopp, the Hale Bopp just after midnight. The comet had apparently a magnitude of 10.5 and lay near the global cluster M70 in the constellation of Sagittarius. And Hale first established that there was no other deep sky object near M70, and then consulted a directory of known comets, finding that none were known to be in this area of the sky. And once he had established that the object was moving relative to the background stars, he emailed Central Bureau for Astronomical Telegrams, the clearinghouse, which is the clearinghouse for astronomical discoveries. And then Bopp did not own a telescope. He was just out with friends near Stanfield, Arizona, observing star clusters and galaxies when he happened to cross the comet while at somebody's eyepiece, at the eyepiece of his friend's telescope. He realized that he may have spotted something new when, like Hale, he checked his star maps to see if any other deep sky objects were known to be near M70, and saw that there weren't any. So he alerted the Central Bureau for Astronomical Telegrams through a Western Union telegram.
Yeah, actually, that's freaking hilarious. Tell them what the guy who ran the thing said about the telegram.
Oh, yeah. Brian G. Marsden, who ran the Bureau since 1968, he laughed and said, "Nobody sends telegrams anymore." I mean, by the time that telegram got here, Alan Hale had already emailed us 3 times to update coordinates. Just
listen, he was like, I swear to God, he was just sort of like, it's the Central Bureau for Astronomical Telegrams. Therefore, I have to send them a telegram.
Yeah, he took it a little too literally.
Yeah, just a little bit. Fucking nerds.
And then the following day, it was confirmed that this was a new comet, and it was given the designation of C 1995-01. Excuse me. And then the discovery was announced in the International Astronomical Union Circular 6187.
Yeah, that was the number of the circular. So like they have a circular that they send out, and it was circular number 6187. Yeah. Now, of course, this is the UFO cult that we're talking about. So this wouldn't be anything if there wasn't a theory of a UFO being involved.
Naturally. And of course, every theory is improved with the introduction of a UFO.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I mean, I could go off for hours on, the Denver airport, but nobody wants to listen to me do that. Do you know about that?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm a little fuzzy right now.
So the Denver airport has been under construction for over 20 years. So yeah. And there's like a lot of really deep tunnels and stuff like that. So there's a big belief that there is a possibility that aliens.
Jesus Christ. Solid.
As soon as I said aliens, my mini fridge made a sound, and I was just like, ugh. You good? Oh, a soda fell over. We good.
Okay.
It wasn't even a soda. It was my fucking pineapple juice. It was a mixer. It just gave me a friggin' heart attack. Oh my God. I was like, aliens, clunk. Oh no.
Oh no, they hurt me.
I mean, listen, not to kink shame myself or anything, but no, I'm kidding. Anyways, so on one episode of Coast to Coast, the late and great Art Bell talked about a picture that had been taken of the comet, and the picture many claim to be of a UFO in the tail of the comet. Now, we have the picture right here. Boom, there you go. Inside of that red circle is like a little round, like a dark round little shape. So like the picture on the right of the screen is like this big white like globe, and then on the left, there's that big red circle. I drew that so that you would be able to see what the hell I'm talking about and what many people claim to be a UFO. That is the tail of the comet. And then there's like a little round indentation in the picture. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, that's a UFO.
Looks like an iris.
I know, right? But a lot of people think that that is a UFO.
It also just kind of looks like there may have been a smudge on the lens.
Yep. But anyway. So yeah. They thought that that was a UFO.
Yeah.
And that was all over Coast to Coast. That was all over conspiracy theory blogs. That was all over everywhere. So.
Man, do you remember that time I saw a UFO?
What?
You remember that time I saw a UFO?
Yeah. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, just briefly, because it's a really short story.
Go ahead.
So I was coming home from work one night, and literally, like, as I was pulling into my driveway, I saw this very distinctively green light in the sky. Like, I am, like, it wasn't like neon green or anything like that, but it was very obviously green. Like, there's no other possibility for what color that was, and it was like something shooting sideways.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it come from anywhere. It just appeared, and I saw it for like a few seconds, and then it was gone. And it was easily one of the coolest and kind of scariest things I'd ever seen in my life. And I think my mom actually like convinced me to call into like a TV station about it, or like a news station. And I talked to them on the phone for a quick second. Nothing ever came of it. And like there were like reports of that on the news for a little bit, and for like an evening. And of course, like all the claims were that it was like military.
Yeah, no, I remember when that happened, because we could see it in Venice Beach too. It was the same night. And I was still working at the freak show.
Oh yeah, wow, it was that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
Yeah. Back in
But
the
anyway,
day.
yeah, so that's my UFO story.
Yep. Anyways, so yeah,
So,
Kate has.
uh, so how'd they get to the point where they decided to leave Earth and get onto that specific spaceship?
Okay. So that's the thing. They had always planned on leaving Earth, but they had planned on doing it without shedding their bodies. However, to explain the idea of leaving their bodies, we have to back up a couple years to an incident a few years prior that sort of, in my opinion, started the beginning of the end with a siege of another cult.
Is this Waco?
Yes,
Okay.
this is Waco. So, the Siege of the Branch Davidians. Now, for those of you who don't know or remember, the Branch Davidians were a group of religious people who followed a man named David Koresh. The siege was an incident that began when the ATF attempted to serve a search and arrest warrant on the ranch, but the Branch Davidians were tipped off about said warrant, and an intense gunfight erupted, resulting in the deaths of 4 government agents and 6 Branch Davidians. Now, the siege ended up lasting 51 days and was initiated by the FBI, and eventually the FBI launched an assault and initiated a tear gas attack in an attempt to force out the Branch Davidians. However, it didn't quite go as planned because shortly thereafter, the Mount Carmel Center became engulfed in flames, and the fire resulted in the deaths of 76 Branch Davidians, including 25 children, 2 pregnant women, and David Koresh himself. Now, the events in the siege and attack are disputed by various sources, and a particular controversy ensued over the origin of the fire. An internal Justice Department investigation concluded that concluded in the year 2000 that incendiary tear gas canisters were used by the FBI, but maintained that the sect members had started the fire. Now, that came after a panel of arson investigators concluded that the Davidians were responsible for igniting it simultaneously in at least 3 different areas of the compound. And the events took place 13 miles from Waco, Texas. Therefore, it has sort of been given the name Waco.
And with the Branch Davidians, were they the ones who I know there was another cult that we had talked about, but weren't the Branch Davidians, weren't they basically just like minding their own business and just like selling guns and stuff, and it wasn't even actually illegal?
Yes, actually they were. There were some shady things that were going on in that group. David Koresh was taking child brides, etc. And that's all yucky. That's all yucky. That's all bad. However, when it comes to the guns, everything that they were doing was completely legal. And ATF chose to serve the search warrants when the licensed member of the group, who was licensed in the reselling of guns and everything, was at a gun show doing what he was licensed to do. Listen, I am all about gun safety and, and all of that. However, at the same time, I am a believer in our Second Amendment right to own guns. I believe that we should own them safely and responsibly. I believe that people who are selling this shit should be licensed. However, I don't believe that the government should be like, you guys are a shady little group of people, and we know that one of you is licensed, so we're going to wait till he goes away, and then we're going to fucking attack you for having guns. No, that's bullshit. That is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, like the fact that it wasn't even about like any of the actual illegal stuff that they were doing. Like, it had nothing to do.
Like fucking 14-year-olds.
Yeah, like that's not what this was about. This was about them like being a little bit outside of the law in the way they were like obtaining gun parts or something stupid like that.
They had gun parts sent to them legally. However, someone decided because it was ATF. ATF decided because they were under fire for what happened at Ruby Ridge.
That's the other one. That's
the bitch. Okay, Ruby Ridge. All right. So, all right, I feel a little bit like Charlie Day in that one like picture of him with like everything connected and all of that, you know. But I'm going to get a little bit Charlie Day right now. So, it started with Ruby Ridge. Ruby Ridge was the site of an 11-day siege in Idaho, and it began on August 21st when the deputies of the United States Marshals Service initiated action to apprehend and arrest Randy Weaver under a bench warrant after his failure to appear on firearms charges. However, the reason that he had a warrant in the first place was literal coercion. They sent an undercover officer to a Nazi group that he was a part of. Listen, I'm not saying that he was a great guy or anything like that. He was a part of a fucking white supremacist group that like hung out in the mountains and all that shit. And they sent this one guy in there to like infiltrate the group. And he did. And then he convinced Randy to alter his double barrel shotgun, which is illegal. And that got him on gun charges. And then he failed to appear. It's coercion. It is coercion.
Yeah, that's...
I am not defending a white supremacist. I am not defending him. However, I am implicating the United States in their fuckery. That is what I'm doing.
That's coercion and entrapment. Entrapment. That is straight up entrapment.
It is literal entrapment, which is exactly what they did to George Michael, and that's why he got arrested. But that's neither here nor there. But as the person who is a very dear friend of someone who is a huge George Michael fan, I have heard that story a million times. So whenever I think entrapment, I always think about George Michael in the bathroom of that park in Beverly Hills. But anyways, yeah. So
tell me that story later, because I have no idea.
I'll tell you that story later. Anyways, so
oh fuck,
you good?
I just tossed my Band-Aid that way from my arm, but I used this arm. And my arm hurts.
Don't do that, dumbass. Anyways, so they were going to arrest Randy Weaver for his bench warrant for his failure to appear on the firearms charges after he was fucking entrapped into altering a shotgun, which is illegal. But after giving 3 conflicting dates for his court appearance and suspecting a conspiracy against him, he refused to surrender, and members of his immediate family and family friend, Kevin Harris, resisted as well. And the FBI became involved, and ATF became involved, and a siege happened, basically. And Randy's fucking wife and child were killed in the siege, and ATF was involved. ATF, God, it was like a whole fucking thing. Yeah. So what?
ATF done fucked up royally.
So ATF had sent in a informant, and then the ATF claimed that Randy sold the informant 2 sawed-off shotguns, which were shorter than the limit, which was the federal law. And then ATF was like, we're going to arrest this guy. And then after Ruby Ridge happened and everyone was like, hey, fuck ATF, they were like, oh, we need to get like someone on our side again. We need to get the government on our side again so that we don't lose our funding. So like, let's try and get these guys in Texas who are like having guns and stuff. So they like fucking go after the Branch Davidians who are doing things legally. And yeah, fucking a shit ton of people died. ATF agents and Branch Davidians.
Yeah, great way to get everyone back on your side, ATF.
It literally all connects because it goes Ruby Ridge, Waco, Oklahoma City, and Heaven's Gate.
I forgot about Oklahoma City.
All right, we did that episode about Timothy McVeigh, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Timothy McVeigh was at Waco.
Oh yeah,
crossover.
the most ambitious crossover of the millennium.
I would argue that the most ambitious crossover of the millennium is connecting Jim Jones to, or well, no, connecting Ruby Ridge to like Jim Jones. That's what I would argue. Well, I guess it would all the way. It would go all. I've already done the most ambitious crossover because it goes all the way to Herf Applewhite. You know what? Here's the connection: Ruby Ridge and Star Trek. Ruby Ridge, Waco, Timothy McVeigh. I'm going to throw in a little bit of the Unabomber there because I feel like he is connected to all of this too.
Mm-hmm.
He is definitely connected to all of this too. Heaven's Gate, and a member of Heaven's Gate was Nichelle Nichols' brother, and Nichelle Nichols played Lieutenant Uhura in the original Star Trek series.
God, it's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
But true crime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, so now that I've done that whole rant because, needed to happen.
Yeah, we had to establish the connection.
We had to establish the connection. Anyways, so as Waco was burning and the world watched it happen, one of the survivors of Heaven's Gate recalled Marshall Herf Applewhite being totally enthralled at how the members of the Branch Davidians were so willing to follow their leader to the grave.
Which isn't entirely what happened.
No, all of those children that died, they all had bullet wounds in their heads. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's basically like saying the members of Jonestown followed Jim Jones to the grave.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Absolutely
false. Anyways, but it was after the siege at Waco that led the group to releasing the statement in USA Today.
Oh, so they were kind of capitalizing on the resurgence of cults in the media and trying to like attract new members.
And weirdly enough, it actually kind of worked. They got a handful of new followers. Now, at this point, they were living in and around New Mexico. They were doing tech work and odd jobs to make money, to, keep the group funded and going and everything like that. They were website builders for companies. They were doing a lot of really interesting things at this point, but they were still all reporting to Marshall Herf Applewhite. Now, at one point, they had an odd job where they were basically testing camping supplies for a company. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically they were like testing these camping supplies as a group together, and they were getting paid for it. And a new member, a guy who had joined the group kind of later remembered them all sitting around together and like having a little meeting, and Herf at one point being like, if we had to die, would you still stay with us? And this guy had been in the group for like 2 weeks, and he was just sort of like, I don't know about that. Understandably, in my opinion. And Herf was like, no, we totally understand. Like, you're brand new here. You don't know that you would be willing to die for this group. That's totally understandable. Here's a bus ticket. Have a nice day. And that was like the first time that Herf actually kicked someone out of the group. For the most part, he let them leave on their own accord. But this time he was just sort of like, okay, you're not willing to follow through with us. Bye.
We don't need somebody going and like, oh, I just forgot the word. Well, I guess they really couldn't be incriminated if they were dead.
No. And I mean, I don't think that they could be incriminated for planning a suicide either. Like, I really don't.
Yeah. It's complicated.
Yeah. But at this point, they're like, releasing stuff on message boards. They are, they have like a digital bulletin board that they're like posting to and everything, which we've seen their website. It's a mess.
Yeah, that is a gentle word for it.
I'm being nice, okay?
That was kind of my point.
Yeah. I'm being nice because I'm not trying to vilify these people, you know?
Yeah, no.
I'm really not, because I don't look at them as villains. They kicked out the guy who was like, I don't know if I want to die. And they were like, okay, bye. And he was just like, okay, bye. Like, anytime someone was like, hey, I kind of want to go home, they were like, all right, great. Here's a bus ticket. Here's a plane ticket. Here are the means to get yourself home. You don't have to stay here. And if they changed their mind and decided that they wanted to come back, they welcomed them with open arms. So I honestly, the people that vilify this group, honestly, I feel like don't understand this group.
Yeah, because it's not like, you can't compare this to something like Jonestown.
No. The People's
Like,
Temple was a fucking disaster.
yeah.
You cannot compare this to something like Jonestown. Anyways.
Because that was, that was manipulation and like fear tactics and horrible. Like,
oh God. The amount of physical, mental, and sexual abuse that the people at Jonestown went through is horrific, to say in the least. One of these days, I'm going to call my friend's dad, who actually knew Jim Jones, and talk to him about that, because I would love to know more about Jim Jones as a person.
yeah, that would definitely be interesting to learn about.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I could even I could record the conversation and release it on Patreon.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, right. Anyways, so in 1995, the Hale Bopp Comet is discovered. At this point, Herf is already kind of considering suicide as an option, because there's really no other way of putting it. He's already considering this. He has seen what has happened with the Branch Davidians, and he's taken it to a level that it never should have been taken to.
Yeah, he lost his grip on things as soon as Bonnie was gone, and he never really got a handle on things.
I don't think he was ever given the opportunity to, because, he's got this whole group of people who are watching him and being like, what do we do next? And he's just like,
That's a good question.
I don't know. What do you guys think we should do next?
I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
You guys want to cut your balls off? That's a little weird.
I mean, I'm not going to stop you from cutting your balls off. Oh, God, you actually did it.
Oh, God. And then how it just went sideways.
Oh, it went so sideways. Also, I was watching Beyond Human today, and I have to say my observation is that Herf sounds like Mr. Rogers with a lisp, and it was very upsetting for me.
Ooh, weird.
Yeah. You've never heard Herf speak before, have you?
If I have, it's been a long time. It's been like since the last time we covered this.
Which was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay.
All right. Full screen. Oops, shit. It's not what I wanted. Alrighty. I am going to share this. I'm gonna mute myself while we're sharing this. And I'm only going to share a couple minutes of it, because if I don't mute myself, then it's going to be all echoey and bad, because I don't have two screens yet.
Okay. Whoa.
The kind of sense that comes from our Heavenly Father. Common sense doesn't tell us that our Heavenly Father would put a soul into this world and let it spend a few months and then have an auto accident, and that's the end of its existence. And no lessons to be learned. If you search the scriptures, if you really get familiar with God's word, as people call it, the Bible, not as I say as people call it, I just certainly don't mean that I don't feel that it is, because it is the record that we have. It is the only authentic record we have of the kingdom of God's relationship with man. If you search that scripture, you learn that there was a period in time called an age prior to this age. Now, what do we mean by this age? We're talking about this age as if it's, possibly this 6,000 year period. And prior to this 6,000 year period, there was, according to the Bible, references made to a previous age, where some souls came from that previous age. And it also makes reference to an age after this age. So with the talk that is so common this day and time of the last days or the end of the age, and some people even talk of it as the end of the world, when I'm afraid I don't feel that our Heavenly Father has quite deemed the planet so ill that it can't be recycled, refurbished, cleaned up.
The thing is, I don't think he blinked in that entire minute that I just showed. But also at the same time, yeah, I would totally fall for this shit.
Yeah.
It's so gentle.
Yeah, that was real soothing.
I know, right?
But not boring either.
No. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a problem. He's very soothing and gentle, and it's not boring. It's actually very interesting to listen to. You can find all of those on YouTube. Yeah.
And it's very matter of fact. It's not condescending.
No. And you can understand why people followed him for as long as they did.
Yeah.
And that's low-key upsetting too. It's just like, fuck, I understand it. Fuck.
Just, oh no, I get it.
Yep. Oh no, I get it is indeed my take on all of this. Is oh no, I get it. But yeah, so they in 1995 they move from New Mexico, and they in 1996 they start moving around San Diego and San Diego County, and they start living around San Diego County, and eventually they have enough money where they rented a house in Rancho Santa Fe. And I say house, they rented a mansion. It was a legit mansion. It had a pool, it had a tennis court, it had its own orange groves. Like, this place was hella posh, right?
Yeah. And in Rancho,
I think that house is still there too. Let me Google it real fast.
And yeah, and in Rancho Santa Fe, I can definitely imagine that.
Yeah, let me find it. So yeah, let's see. Wow, that mansion went up for sale in some time ago, and it was the cheapest house on the block. Wonder why? It's a 9,200 square foot, 7-bedroom mansion in one of the nicest communities in San Diego for only $668,000.
For 7 bedrooms?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I know. 668,000 for 7 bedrooms. That's nothing.
Are there 5 more people who would like to move in?
I like that you said 5 because you already knew that I was down.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Anyone want to buy a house with us? Because like the only downside is 39 people died there.
Yeah, that's literally it. Just the bad vibes.
I mean, I could sage the shit out of the house and it would be fine. And honestly, like, are there really bad vibes? Do you think that these people had bad vibes? These people were nothing but good vibes.
Yeah, it's just the bad vibes with death, you know?
I guess. No, so
I call Herf's room.
oh, boo! I want to be in Herf's room.
Too bad. Called it first.
No, but yeah, this fucking house is gorgeous, by the way. Like, fucking stunning house. Yeah, Herf, whatever.
Yeah, there's some nice houses out here.
Yeah, there really are. Oh, apparently they may have torn down the house. I don't know. Let me find the address.
What is the truth?
Yeah, right? Seriously. All right, here's the address. All right, here we go. They changed the street name. That's hilarious. I love it when they do that to like hide where the like suicides actually happened or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I love when there's a few roads out here that I drive on regularly where like it had been built, but then they expanded on it. But the part they expanded on got a different name.
8241 Pace of Victoria. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so the road changes names like 3 times.
This is 18245. I want 18241. Fucking Zillow. Here we go. Waze is trying to give me driving directions to this place.
Nah.
Let's see. Here we go. Why is it so hard to find this fucking house? Ah!
The government doesn't want you to find it.
I know the government doesn't want me to find it, but I want it. Yeah, the Zillow estimate of the house's value is $6 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was going for 10% of its value.
Seriously. Also, good math.
Huh?
I said, also good math.
Thank you. I just moved the decimal point.
Yeah, exactly. No, but seriously, the Zillow estimate of that house is like $6 million. Over $6 million. Is closer to 7. But anyways, it was like $6.5 million.
Wow, then less than 10%.
Technically, it was 6.3, but whatever. Close enough. Anyways. Yeah. Who wants to move to San Diego? Because
it's nice out here.
It's a lot nicer than Vegas, I'll tell you that. It was only 104 today.
Did I go? Oh, yeah, I did go outside today. I went and got my vaccine.
Yeah.
I don't know what the temperature was today, but it wasn't too bad.
I hate you. Anyway, so they move into this big-ass house in Rancho Santa Fe, and they're like, look at this mansion. There's 39 of them living there, by the way. And they are, you know, hanging out, having a good time. They're living in this mansion. They're like, ooh, look at us. We're living our best Instagram life. But, you know, that's before Instagram.
Oh, my God. What the fuck is the website?
Flickr?
Oh no. What?
MySpace?
Oh, my God. MySpace. Jesus Christ. It was not... It was gone. It was absolutely gone.
I could see that. You were like so upset about it. Oh my God.
That was embarrassing. I am so sorry.
You should be. For the record, I ran out of wine and I'm drinking this peach mango Angry Orchard, and it's two fruits that I hate.
Why did you get it?
Becky bought it for me.
Oh.
I asked her to buy me an Angry Orchard, and that's what she came back with. And I was just like, okay. And I've been holding on to it for like a month for like an emergency. And today was an emergency because I had like that much wine and I forgot to go to the store today. So I was just sort of like, okay, guess this is what I'm drinking.
I'm not big on cider, but I'd probably like that one because I like peach and mango.
It's what I'm drinking. It's here.
I'm drinking water because I got drugged today.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You got drugged today. Also, you probably shouldn't drink while you're just starting your new antidepressants, too.
Yeah, I'm only on week 2. I'm on my first week of full dosage, so...
But already I'm seeing a change in you. It is for the better.
Yeah.
So attractive. No,
that's true.
So,
yeah, I folded all my laundry last night.
I know. I'm proud of you. Did you put it away yet?
No, not yet. I've been too tired today, so I'm going to do it later.
Okay. What was I talking about before we got into like prices on houses and shit like that? What was I saying? They moved to Rancho Santa Fe. They were, following this whole story of the Hale Bopp Comet pretty closely. They were like, oh my God, the Hale Bopp Comet, we're going to like follow it. And someday we're going to get onto that their comet and go away and stuff. And other people were like, okay, you sure about that?
All right. Have fun with that, I guess.
Pretty much. So there's definitely a point where there's like, yeah. Hey there.
Hey, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, so listen, I'm in San Diego.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah, I've been visiting in San Diego. I've been helping out with some crime stuff down here because, I'm obviously the best cop in the whole United States aside from you.
Aw, shucks.
I mean, where am I going to go without my partner?
Yeah, absolutely nowhere.
That's right. But anyway, so I was talking to this guy. His name was Marshall. He had the weirdest haircut, but he was very soothing.
All right.
I don't think he blinked for like 10 whole minutes.
Is he a lizard?
I know, right?
That's
but anyway, I know, right? But anyway, so we were talking and he was like telling me, he was like, oh yeah, so we're going to go up on the UFO on the end of the Hale Bopp Comet.
What's the Hale Bopp Comet?
It's that comet that's been in the news and it's out by like Jupiter and it's supposed to be like 1,000 times bigger than Halley's Comet. And if it hit the Earth, the whole Earth would explode.
Oh, that new one that they just found.
Yeah, that new one that them guys found,
Okay. I thought that was something about that new Bop It phrase.
No. My kids have one of those though.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh yeah. Anyways, so did you try that thing, by the way? That thing was terrible. It went so fast. It was like Simon Says, but on a crack. I was going to like arrest it for being on speed,
See, I beat it.
What?
I beat the solo round.
Are you on speed?
Deb was on a girls' trip, okay?
Wow. Okay. So, anyways, so I'm talking to these guys and they're sitting there telling me, oh yeah, we're going to go up in space. Do you think that's possible? I mean, they were so soothing. We should go to space.
I mean, them astronauts did it.
Yeah.
Are they astronauts?
No. So they said that if we change our diets and we don't eat any mayonnaise, or we don't eat any like corned beef, and we don't eat any like bacon, then we can go to space.
Bob.
What?
Bob.
What?
Can you imagine giving up any of those things?
You know what? I was really not sure about it. And then they said no beer.
Bob.
I know.
It's like they want you to give up all your fuel and somehow you'll still get to space?
I know, right? Like, how does that make sense?
It doesn't, Bob.
Yeah, so listen, Billy, if I ever talk to you about changing my diet or becoming a whatever the kids are calling it, it's a vegan. You heard of that?
Is that like someone from Las Vegas?
Yeah, I don't know. But if I ever like talk about that, you just remind me of the alien group, okay?
Okay. Yeah, that's a little weird there, Bob.
Maybe they're already aliens.
Bob, call your wife.
Okay, bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you too. I just love that. Bob, call your wife. Billy is Bob's wife. How dare you?
Mary Sue Ellen is Bob's wife. How dare you?
Mary Sue Ellen is Bob's wife, but let's be honest, Billy is Bob's wife too.
Okay, you know what? That's fair.
Yeah. Anyways, so they're living in Rancho Santa Fe. They are following the Hale Bopp Comet very closely. They are trying to figure out how they are going to follow it. And then Marshall Herf Applewhite has an idea. And that is where we're going to leave off until next week.
Wonder what it'll be.
Now, I know that I said that next week was going to be our last episode. However, going through the content and everything that I have, I think we're going to have to do one more episode just as like the follow-up to everything that happened, because the next episode is going to be the majority of us talking about the suicide and a lot of that stuff. And that's going to be a lot of stuff to go through. I've been working on the notes for that one, and it's already at like 12 pages, which we both know we can't do in one episode.
Not likely, no.
No. So anyways, Kate, thoughts so far?
Low-key, poor Herf.
Right? Explain.
He just lost his way so much to the point that that this was the conclusion that he reached. Like this was how they had to go about it. And like, you know, I feel like I don't want to like put any blame on anybody, but like I feel like if Bonnie had like been more organized and like set up more of a plan,
it's like when your teacher is absent and they don't leave like a lesson plan for when they're absent. So then the substitute is just like, today we're watching a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Only the Disney movie is mass suicide.
I love that one.
I'm sorry, but like that was the only way I could think of to explain it, you know?
Yeah. Oy. But yeah, that's basically the vibe.
Yeah. Poor Herf had no idea what the fuck he was doing. He tried to back out. He tried to be like, I should put myself in prison for letting what's his face cut off his balls. And everyone was like, no, we will take care of it. And he was just like, I don't know about that. And they were like, no. We got this. Let us handle it.
Herf, right here,
Herf,
right here,
Herf,
right here.
right here. Come on. Come on.
And Herf just,
we got this.
okay.
Herf.
And that's why he stopped blinking.
Yep. That is why he's blinking. Oh my God. Pretty much. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And he never blinked again. He'd be like falling asleep and he'd be like, oh God. All right. So I will agree with Kate's thoughts on this. Yeah, poor Herf in a sense. And also poor these people who thought that the only way to reach their form of enlightenment was to follow this guy who had no idea what the fuck he was doing at this point.
Like, I can't help but wonder if they could, like, tell he was kind of scrambling, or if they like legitimately like fully believed in the random bullshit that he was coming up with.
It's a mixed bag. There were some people who didn't believe it, and there were some people who did, and we'll get into that in the next episode because we have statements from people who have survived the cult.
Okay.
Yeah. The next episode is going to be formatted a little bit differently. You guys will have a lot of fun with this one. I have a lot of photographic and video evidence for this one, so this is going to be interesting. Yeah. So until next week, say goodnight, Kate.
Good night, Kate. Excuse me.
Good night. And everybody wish Kate well on her journey to full vaccination.
Woo!
Yay. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.